Welcome to the Dream Huge podcast, where we'll talk with real estate investors, entrepreneurs, business leaders, athletes, and more to inspire you with their success stories so you can work hard, never give up, and dream huge. And now, let's start the show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Dream Huge podcast. Man, I'm excited for this one today, folks. We love to share success stories from other huge dreamers, movers, shakers, influencers, real estate investors, and more. And hopefully these stories will help to motivate and inspire you to also dream huge. And today we have my man Brock Holliman on the program today. How you doing, Brock?
I'm doing great, Pete. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yes, no, thank you. Thank you for making the time. You know, as a busy entrepreneur, you never know what the day is going to throw at you. But oftentimes you just have to make it work and just take it all in stride and just keep kicking ass every day, because that's what we do. Ain't that right?
Amen to that, man, for sure. You don't ever know what's coming, but you got to be ready for a curveball any second.
That's right. Yes. So, Brock, tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do. I see one of your bios mentioned that you are a Florida real estate investor. If you want to tell us a little bit about that. I also found you on Instagram at follow.brock. Looks like you're pretty active on there as well. So tell us a little bit about what you do on a day-to-day currently.
Yeah, so it's been a long journey to get here. Short, but long journey, short duration. I'm 31 years old. I'm down here in Florida. I have three different companies here at the time that we're recording. I've got and they're all sort of in the real estate realm. So I've got one. My favorite one is Holloman Capital Group. So what we do is we invest in real estate. Now it's only the type of real estate that the second company is constructing, and it's all build to rent. So anything that we're keeping right now or over the past 5 years has been solely new construction product that we build ourselves. It's not buying off of other builders or anything like that. So Holliman Capital Group, the investment company. Then we've got Brock One or Brock Homes. That is the construction company. So we have a few different plans. All of them are extremely modern. They don't look like your typical rental house. We build in different areas, whether from Orlando area down here to South Florida, where I'm at today. I'm in Sarasota County. So we build in the same little areas that, you might see a D.R. Horton model next to us or LGI Homes model next to us. And really, they're all focused on retail sales. And we focus on, we do some retail sales, but we do a lot of rentals and we do a lot of sales to investors. That's where that's where our bread and butter is. So that's the construction company. That's number two. Number three is My New Rental, which is our property management company. So we manage. At first, it started off just managing all of Holliman Capital Group's properties. So our in-house management, we were just managing our self-manage. Once we kind of felt ready enough, everybody that loves buying or working with us as builders, they kept begging me, can you manage the properties too? And I kept saying no, and I just didn't want to give anything, let anybody have a bad experience. We're learning off our stuff, but once we felt ready, which we did about 1.5 years ago, we opened up My New Rental. So that's the management company. It manages all of our own product. It manages any of the investors that work and buy off of us, their product. And it really helps, it helps to work hand in hand with the construction company to help lower costs and keep unit turnovers, down and vacancies down and occupancies high. So yes. In a nutshell, what we're doing here today, what I do today.
Excellent. And one business kind of feeds into the other, and you see how that continues to grow as you just continue to help people out. That's what we preach all the time. Stop selling and start helping. It's an old Zig Ziglar quote, but it holds so true. Your clients, they were just looking for some help on the property management side. And you provided that, and your business continues to grow and thrive and succeed because of that.
And I just started listening to Zig Ziglar too. People need to know more about this guy. I know he was back, what was like 80s or 90s type of thing, or motivation. He's like now I guess we have like Grant Cardone and stuff, but anyways, that sounds like a good guy. I need to look more into.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's like a mix of like a country western, singer
Yeah.
mixed with Anthony Robbins or something. It's just he's hilarious, but he's got all the one-liners you ever need. But at the end of the day, it's so true. Just help others. So, how did you find yourself getting into the build for investor sector?
Yeah. So growing up, my father was in construction. He was a contractor. So as small as I was, or can remember back, barely being able to even walk, just going out on the job sites with him every day. And, whether that was sometimes sitting in the truck or walking around the job sites and him actually teaching stuff, or I hold the end of the measuring tape or whatever. So it was sort of like that was like in my blood, the whole time, this construction stuff. However, the real estate side is what I'm obsessed with. I know my father really focused on the construction. I love real estate. I love the numbers. I love the power of everything that real estate can do. And construction really isn't worth a damn without a piece of property to construct something on. So really they need to work very, very closely together. So that's sort of where the build side came from. And now the investor side, I started in this real estate game when in the middle of like the depression of no building whatsoever. So like my dad was like barely working. Everybody that I grew up with, his friends, all those people were either bankrupt or out of work at the time because construction had halted during the financial crisis. This was like between 08, 09, 2010. And I'm still in high school at the time. But I remember my dad coming up to me and he said, you really should check out these foreclosure auctions when you get out of school. So I thought, okay, well, I started looking into it. And I remember I went skip school. I was a terrible student. If I was anything like I was a student in business, we would be out of business very fast. But I remember looking into it. The internet was available, and it wasn't everything that it is today, but it was very available, and you could find pretty much anything on there. So I found the foreclosure auctions and wanted to go down to the courthouse and check this out. This was in Memphis, Tennessee, and skipped school for the day. Went down there. The first auction I went to, I didn't realize my dad had a court date that date for his speeding ticket. So as the auction's beginning, he's walking up the steps. We make eye contact. He's like, "What the hell are you doing here? You're supposed to be in school." I was nervous, but at the same time, I think, at the end of that day, he was so proud of that. Like I knew that this was probably the direction I should go on. I could skip school, I can make money, and my dad's still not mad at me. Let's go. So,
hey man, I preach. First of all, shout out to Pops, for being an amazing role model. It seems like, but second of all, I preach this all the time. Kids, drop out of school and get into real estate.
Yeah.
It's not, or at least you don't have to go to college.
No.
You do not have to go to a university. You can go directly into real estate. The best thing you can do is house hack as soon as you get out. Or like you said, dive into the foreclosure market or just become obsessed with it and learn about it because the returns are unlimited.
They are. And really, just like I started, maybe this strategy doesn't work the same today, but there's all kinds of ways to get into this game. There's a big misconception that you've got to have enough money to get in. And that's just not the truth. Like if you've got enough hustle and creativeness in your mind to put deals together and you're not afraid to go out and meet the contacts that you need. I know your new book too, by the way. So context equals contracts. But if you go out and meet enough people, you can it's like ammunition. You just pick out which bullet you need, to put this deal together. So at the time, I don't think you can do this.
Rock,
yeah.
Tell me about that real quick though. For someone that has no money and wants to get into real estate, elaborate on that, the possibilities of that and what they would do to make something like that happen.
Yeah. So, and there's a couple different avenues you can go. If you really are super entrepreneurial and you want to do this on your own, which nobody's going to really do it on their own, especially with no money. But if you really want to be the only person making the decisions at first, which is, I probably don't recommend that, even if that is the way you want to go, then there's ways to, get contracts at a good deal, if you can find deals, there's always going to be a buyer out there. Like, I don't care what, if you turn the news on right now, they're going to tell you, oh, the real estate market is in the pits. And it is compared to a few years ago. But there's such an absorption of cash buyers right there always, no matter what the market is, terrible market, great market, whatever, there's always buyers there. And if you can find a deal that the buyers want, then you're going to get paid for it. So whether that's you're going to be a broker for them, so if you want to work for them as an agent or a broker, or whether you're going to work, as a W-2 or a 1099 person directly for an investor or an investment group, or if you're going to work directly for yourself and go tie up properties out there, get them under contract, find the cash buyers that want those deals, which is so easy now with the internet. You can do it in like 5 seconds. I could come up with a cash buyer list without having to pay for one cash buyer. And
How so?
Well, you go to the public record. So everything in this free country is recorded. All real estate transactions will hit the public records. Some counties are, lazier than others, so it might take them a couple months for those transactions to hit. But the market in real estate does not change so dramatically in a couple months that those prices are going to be totally different. So if you can find, a cash buyer list, which that's the easy part, is finding the buyers. The hard part is finding the deals. So, I would find the deal first, and then I would go find the buyers, because if you've got a good enough deal, the buyers will be there, especially if you get off your ass and make some calls and look it up. So, but yeah, public record. This is how I started. And if it worked on the internet, then I guarantee you it works now in 2024, because it's even easier. But I just remember seeing the auction lists, and this was 18-year-old Brock. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. Never done anything like this before, but it's just simple. You find your deal, and then figure out in that zip code who's buying, and you can see repetition too. A lot of these buyers are buying regularly, so few times a month. Look up who the buyer is. There's a phone number tied to anybody. There's an address tied to every entity for a tax mailing address. If you want it bad enough, then you show up at their office, which is what I was willing to do. And at 18, it doesn't look that great either. You're going to get turned down a lot. An 18-year-old trying to sell you an untraditional real estate deal, which is a foreclosed property, and then say, oh, we got to close in 3 days. And, this is how, I'm going to get hung up on a lot. I'm going to get called a scammer. I'm going to say, oh, you're too young. I don't trust you, or blah, blah, blah. If only this, if only that. But really, it's enough tries out there. If you keep trying, you're going to break through, and one of these deals work. And then once one of those deals work, that person or whoever that is that is your buyer, if you got them a good deal, they're going to want you to keep bringing them good deals. So it will keep working. So it's just, keep pushing until something breaks through. So, but yeah, online public record, number one free tool out there that nobody even uses.
That's it. And there's no secrets in this game. People like Brock right here are successful at doing this. They're willing to share, and there are no secrets, but you have to have the courage, which you did. You have to have the discipline. Whoever hears the most no's makes the most dough. So you had to have the courage to go out there, knock on those doors, and meet those investors and meet those buyers. But you also had to have the discipline to consistently put a system in place to watch those auctions, to source those off-market deals, and then you put those two together, and that is how you get paid in this game, by finding deals, assembling deals, being a matchmaker almost, and it can really scale up from there. And then you can get into such large things where you're, being the general partner on a deal, and you're bringing in limited partners, and you're getting free equity in a deal, and you're splitting up the cash flow as negotiated upon, and it only grows from there. Are you assembling any deals like that?
I actually am not. Everything that we're doing right now has been self-funded. Well, I say self-funded. I don't want to sound like I'm funding everything. We use construction loans. We use private money loans. However, we have not done any type of syndication or fund deals where we're bringing in other investors as an equity stake on our deals. And it's not because it's not because I don't want to. There's a lot of bigger things out here that I think that we actually deserve to be a part of as an organization, because I know how well we operate, and I see a lot of other people out there that maybe, and I'm not talking trash about people, but there's some people that just should not be in that game of taking investors' money and, putting it to work on deals that maybe make sense today, but, now, like starting now and maybe over the next few months, people that didn't know what they were doing with that low interest rate debt will get caught with their pants down. And, I feel like we're a wonderful organization when we get to that point, and it's really only paperwork that's kind of holding us up. So, but yeah, we don't have any of those yet, but I'd love to do bigger projects like that.
Well, and here's the thing, like someone like you has the experience to back that up, where most try to dive into that as the first step, and it can be tricky. If you have the experience in the portfolio to back that up, like you said, people will listen. It's tough as an 18-year-old. Can it be done? Yes. Once you have a track record like it becomes easier. So what is your bread and butter? Now, I've seen a few of your new builds on your Instagram there. Again, follow.brock on Instagram. Take us to your bread and butter. What are you building? What does it cost you to build? What are you selling it for? And are some of the investors maybe receiving some tax benefits by investing with those?
Yeah. So our bread and butter now is build to rent. So we go out, we acquire the lots in-house. I'm a real estate broker for our management company. So if me or somebody on my team, we go out and acquire these lots, we get the commissions off of them if we go off on MLS. If not, we do some direct to seller stuff where we go off market. We're not doing that right now. We sort of flip switches when we do that. And I'm not trying to get too detailed, but just giving as much information as I can here. So we go out and acquire the lots. We already have a set of plans that are in place. And we're doing this in a few different areas close to Orlando. Like I said, down here close to Sarasota. We're in Northport right now. We're doing this in Punta Gorda. We're doing this which is in Charlotte County. We're doing stuff in Port Charlotte, and then also over in Cape Coral. We just started up in Cape Coral. But our traditional.
What's the average square footage, average sale price?
Yeah, so down, our average footage is going to be around 1,700 square feet. We've got a 1670 plan and a 1717 plan. The 1670s for Orlando, the other one's down for coastal areas because they are designed just a little bit differently. So just, for hurricane codes and stuff like that. But
and those have walkout basements?
No basements. No, we don't want
no basements in Florida.
I haven't seen one yet. But yeah, and I'm glad about that. I remember when I was in Tennessee, I had to do some basements. I cannot stand construction with basements, whether it's old ones or building a new one. So, but yeah, thankfully no basements. But we do build all concrete block. I'll tell you, we do build like an investor would want something to be built. If you're buying in a place where, you might not know all the way of Florida, but if you turn the news on during a hurricane, it feels like the world is completely coming to a close in Florida, which it really is blowing out of proportion a lot. But even so, I want, for the safety factor of the house, safety of the tenants, safety of the investment, just to build it right, even if it costs more money. So, you'll see a lot of build to rent product down here that's built out of wood frame construction, which you can do that with the right engineering. We don't do any of that. We do all concrete block. On the coastal areas, we do an upgraded shingle that's supposed to go up to 160 miles per hour. We don't have to do impact glass and windows. We could just do the cheap window packages that save us probably $6,000-$7,000 a house, which adds up tremendously. If you do 150 of those in a year, that's $1 million more in profit that we could have made if we would have went with cheaper windows. But at the same time, we want to do things based off a scale. And if you say you had 1,000 products or houses that you're leasing or managing, and you got a hurricane coming, you can't trust that every one of these tenants is going to go out and put the shutters up or, secure everything like it needs to be. So I think it's better just to put these things in place on the front end, and it's more of a, it's a hidden thing that's not going to show up on your bottom line, but it's still, you've got a good product. So if anything ever needs to get sold or anything, these houses are designed better than a retail house next door, like that D.R. Horton is building, or any of the other national builders or local builders. The interiors of our homes, we make everything really modern and sexy. And it's extremely durable on that too. So, all of our cabinets are solid wood with soft closed drawers and stuff. So no particle board that'll swell up. All of our flooring, there's not 1 ounce of carpet in any of our homes. So they're all tile flooring. So somebody moves out, we don't have to clean carpet, we don't have to replace carpet. If there were terrible tenants with some really dirty animals or something, then we might have to clean the grout. But after that's done, it looks brand new. So a lot of these different things that we do, that really add to it. All LED lighting, so you don't have to worry about that. And plus, that helps the tenants with their utility bills and all this kind of stuff. I'm getting sidetracked here, maybe. But
no, that's fine. So from an investor standpoint, we like to meet the 1% rule. Mm-hmm. So if I'm buying a property for $350, it should rent for the minimum of $3,500 a month. If I'm buying a property for $400,000, I should be getting $4,000 a month, roughly. You still want to dig into your cash flow analysis and make sure that it does cash flow. But that's just a rough bird's eye view before you dig in. How does that look on your properties?
It's impossible. So I'll tell you, in Florida in general, used product, it's going to be damn near impossible to find 1% rules that hit in used product. And new construction, it is literally, we'd have to sell at a loss in order to make that happen. It's impossible. But the good thing is that we need to factor in when it comes to that, is you're getting a product that should appreciate better. You're getting a product with no maintenance bill. Like literally, I've been able to keep over 100 of these things over the past 3 or 4 years. And the oldest properties right now, I'm averaging, I think when I ran the report for the end of last year, it was like $2 a month for average maintenance and repair. So, it's, and then I've got a lot of friends, back in Memphis or just around the nation really, that have
Ohio.
Ohio, that own rental properties, and I've seen their maintenance bills on less properties, and we're talking, it's crazy. Like I see them paying, one of my friends, he owns, I think it was 76 of them, and he was averaging like $15,000 a month in maintenance and repairs. I don't even know if that's normal. I should know that, being a real estate professional, but I'm just so out of the norm with that. That are out of touch with that because we're doing all new homes.
Right. So we don't mind sacrificing on cash flow because we know our maintenance is going to be so low. It's going to offset that. Not only that, the appreciation is going to be so high to help offset that cash flow. And this is an argument we have constantly. Well, do you want cash flow or do you want appreciation? Or do you want something that's right in the middle? Something that does cash flow a little bit and it does have a decent appreciation. That's kind of the investing story around here, at least. We can go find cash flow if we want, but that's going to require more maintenance and it's going to have a lot less appreciation. Or we can go more into your type of direction, where it's going to have very little cash flow, maybe even negative, but the appreciation is going to be great.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. Since my passion is to keep these things, and I'm not trying to like hoard all the product, okay? But if I could, I would keep every one of them. But I will say, I'm not building any home any different than one that I've got earmarked to keep. Like, it's not like I say, ooh, that one's mine. Let me put the upgraded tile in it. Let me do this or that. It's all the same exact thing. And with that being said, I don't pick any area. I will not build in it, or we'll just roll up our cords and we'll get out of there and go to a different area if it doesn't cash flow with the underwriting. If it doesn't cash flow for an investor, I can't, I know that I won't stay in business if I did keep every one of them. So we
Right.
have to sell product, and I have to believe in what I'm selling. And the fact that we can do a management deal with everybody, like that's basically I'm getting married to everybody for as long as I take care of them and as long as their investments perform the way that I told them they should perform. And of course, market conditions can change, but as long as we're upfront about everything and they can produce cash flow, then they'll be a customer for life. And they'll either want to sell it later and we'll sell it for them, or they'll buy something else from us. Or our number one marketing source has been repeat clients because we just take care of everybody, you know? And we do what we say, and we're not here trying to inflate rents just to make it look good on a pro forma. So,
Hey, Brock, what's your average selling price and what's your average rents?
yeah, so over in Orlando, our average sales price is around 320,000. Those rents will be at between $2,100 to $2,300 a month. And what I'm doing, since rates are where they're at, there's no doubt over the past 12 to 18 months, regardless of what inflation looks like on the news, rental prices have come down a little bit, even in Florida. I feel like we've bottomed out, and I don't see us going any lower unless you see some economic crash. But they have come off the peaks. So what we've done to sort of incentivize and help investors out is we are covering the difference between what I got peak rent for the same product a year to a year and a half ago and whatever we get today. So if I get you $2,150 and I told you we got $2,300 a year ago, then I'm personally cutting a check as soon as we got a signed lease, or actually we send wires to the investors, in a little memo that says 12 months, or I'm sorry, now we're doing 24 months for people that come directly with us. 24 months of that rent gap credit. So $150 times 24 right up front with the, before you even get the first month's distribution from our management company. And on top of that, we get free management for the same time.
Are the investors financing these? Are they paying cash? Or how does that work?
It's a mixed bag. We've got a lot of different investors that, 96% of our people are from California. That's either their income is from California, or they had real estate that they owned in California that they bought for $300K, 20 years ago. And now they just sold it for 2.8. And now they need to come buy, 8 houses with this cash, which is a common thing.
So you seeing, like, are you able to offer like a 6 cap, or where does it generally average out?
Yeah, right now we're actually right at a 6.25, give or take. So we're at the point, and I'm not saying rates are coming down, but when they do, when we can get back under, if it can get to 5.99 or 8, then we're back into positive borrowing strategies, which really some of the most experienced investors have never seen, like something like this, where the returns, the cap rates are lower than what the interest rate is. Therefore, you're borrowing at a negative position where typically you would see a return higher than what the rate is. So in that case, it's like, sign me up for as much cash I can borrow as long as I can put it into something that yields more than what the interest I'm paying. But it's just simply not the case. However, there's a lot of investors that are still paying, that are getting loans and financing these properties with the hopes to refinance later.
So, and for investors, what other types of benefits do they have besides just the cap rate, besides the return on their investment?
Yeah. So my favorite one is going to be tax benefits. So that bonus depreciation, which I believe we just got extended. That is such a key deal. If you qualify as a real estate professional, which there's so many ways to, that nobody really shouldn't be able to qualify, then you're allowed to let, deductions from your rental property follow through to your income, as a salary or whatever, and sort of wipe out taxes, that's my favorite thing. So I don't even know what my bank account would look like. It'd be negative probably had I not been able to keep as many properties as I have, because the tax liability would be so high. But we do this by getting cost segregation studies done. We hire a cost seg engineer. They're licensed, and they've got the software that the IRS is looking for to give them the kind of report to break down all these different types of the house or the building or whatever, that depreciate faster, so we can bring a lot of those deductions ahead in year one.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that about cost seg. I thought cost seg was only used on older properties because you plan on, replacing some items sooner than others. But I guess you could use it on a new property as well, because some items will be replaced sooner than others.
Every one of ours that we hold, we've done it. Every one of ours investors that have bought, we recommend they do it. And I will tell you, our average right now, those houses that like those $320,000 houses there, and then I never finished answering that one, but South Florida, we're in Sarasota County, it's more expensive to build. We've got these coastal factors and all this kind of stuff. We're at about 380 there. And both of those are about 10% off of what we can go out and get retail. So anyways, just now that you know those numbers, you can factor in between probably around 28 to 32%, depending on who the cost seg engineer is, on our new construction buildings for the value of the building. So you take that house or the number I just told you minus the land off, and it's around 30% of that price there. So roughly $100,000 worth of income would be tax-free just by buying one of these.
And you get to write that off in year one?
Year one. And then the great thing is that the cash flow, we always want great cash flow, okay? And if you can exceed it, great. Then you go a little bit of tax liability if it cash flows crazy. But really, for the next 5, 7, 10 years, you get deductions that come through as well. Now, they get diminished as time goes on. But as long as you've got a loan in place, there should be no way you're even paying a penny of income tax for the cash flow that you get for the first 5 years. It should be impossible.
Right, but then when you sell, you got to recapture all those write-offs.
But by that time, you're addicted just like we are. So we're ready to 1031 and trade up into something more exciting, right?
Right. You keep 1031 exchange, you keep doing that, and you can just defer those capital gains forever.
Right. We have so many 1031 clients just as we speak right now. And it's a lot of people don't like doing that with new construction. Because a lot of contractors out there will give you a completion date that never has a chance of hitting, just to sound like they're really badass. Yeah. And people get disqualified on their 1031 deadlines. But we've got a lot of repeat people that trust us to hit our deadlines for their 1031 exchanges. But yeah, just throwing that out there since we were on 1031.
Yeah, and the 1031 is an amazing tool, and the government offers that. You know why? And they reward us because we need housing so badly in this country, so they're willing to reward us for doing that and rolling that into housing and continuing to invest. We need 5 million houses in this country at the minimum. And that's what I love about what you're doing, Brock, is, rather than complain about a problem, you're out there solving it. We ain't got no inventory to sell. Well, Brock said, I will produce some inventory. And not only are we going to sell it, we're going to also manage it. And then we're probably going to sell it again.
That. Yeah. And one thing, like you said, the government incentivizes us as real estate investors to do that, which is it's so true. They need to incentivize. Right now, they talk about the housing shortage and then the affordability issue. Yeah, affordability can be solved with interest rates, but it can also be solved with lower prices. Builders cannot afford to be doing anything lower priced right now. We just got hit with some of the hardest material inflation, and people think, because the real estate market's taken a little hit on the chin the last couple of years, that prices should come down for materials. Dead wrong. We've got another 2 to 3% onto our build cost since the first of the year, with price increases from concrete, drywall, roofing supplies. I mean, you name it, it's still going up. You see metal prices right now, electrical wiring, all that kind of stuff is in every building. So really, I mean, I not to get, not to be a lobbyist or anything, but it would be great if the government saw this from a contractor's or construction side and point of view. When the margins are so thin, builders are going to pull back the reins. They're going to get nervous, especially with what happened not long ago, 15 years ago. I guess that's long, but everybody still thinks about it. So everybody's a little nervous. So there should be incentives out there, whether it's tax incentives for the builders or something that would help them lower their bottom line without dinging the material costs or the labor people, you know? So
Absolutely. And that's why you had to bring on those accessory pieces to your business, I'm sure.
yeah.
And that's why you bring on management, so we can maintain a profit and still grow. Because, the margins can be slim from the building standpoint.
100%. Yeah. It helps us out. We wouldn't be able to afford to give 10% off of retail prices to investors if we don't get to manage the property. Because in my mind, it's like, okay, if over the next 8 to 10, 12 years max, we'll get that 10% back as long as we take care of the investors and they stick with us as a management team. So,
yeah, great stuff. All right, Brock, I don't want to keep you all day, buddy. We're up over a half hour already. I appreciate your time and your message. Hey, what advice could you offer to aspiring real estate investors?
Stay hungry and try to, there's nothing that can beat hard work. So I think just, instead of trying to spend time trying to figure out the easy way to do things, just there's already blueprints out there that people have already proven themselves that worked. It worked for them. It'll work for you. If you need to modify it, but don't try to run away from the hard work and try to find the easy way to get success, because it's a lot better just to do it the old-fashioned way.
Brock Holliman said it, baby. Just work hard. Good old-fashioned hard work. Brock, where can folks follow you and find you online?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram. Unfortunately, someone took my first and last name. I don't know what that's all about, but follow.brock. I'm more active on there than any other social site. And then go to our website, check out our product. Go to mynewrental.com. You can kind of see what we got. If anybody's interested in investing, you can also, reach out to us there, and we'd love to show you what we have. So mynewrental.com.
Very good. Love it. Brock Holliman, thank you for your time today, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your story to help motivate and inspire others on the Dream Huge podcast, man. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, remember the rules. Work hard. Like Brock said, work hard, never give up, and dream huge. Let's see the guns, Brock. Dream huge, baby.
Against yours and not
Love it. Thank you, my man. We will be in touch.
All right,
much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Dream Huge podcast. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. For more inspiring content, follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Dream Huge Realty and on TikTok at Dream Huge Inc. Until next time.